Oh, yes. I'm glad you were here to watch it. Usually, like, really creative. Like, it's really fun.
Yes, it looks so precise. I'm like, oh, man, it's so precise.
Thank you.
Cool, Kingsley, this is all part of it. You got to talk about this. The conversation is, it began like 10 minutes ago.
It did?
It did, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was talking over there.
I know, that's why it's part of it.
Oops. Hi, you guys.
Hi.
Nothing has changed. We're in the exact same situation we were in before.
No, we just have microphones.
We have microphones now.
How y'all doing?
Wow, people are here still. Good job. Thank you for saying
Thank you
that.
for staying.
That's awesome. So, all right, what's 6 times 4? It's 24? Yes. I just got that wrong 3 times back there. Isn't that crazy?
3 times.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I want to say. So, now y'all can talk. How was your day?
24. 24!
It's 24, yeah, I know. I got that wrong 3 times back there. I tried. Literally 3 times.
Someone's walking around telling me the answer to that equation.
I'm embarrassed. Oh.
Does anyone in the audience have anything they'd like to share before we go into? I wrote a bunch of stuff, but doesn't matter. Yes, please.
I just thought your entire set and setup was just beautiful. Like you, yes. On you, yeah. If you
Oh.
You.
Oh.
It was incredible. I was actually in the back screaming if you heard me.
Oh.
It was like I'm like, nah, you don't understand. Like it was inspirational.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
That was
much.
killer.
Yay, thank you.
Do you remember what you were screaming? Was it words or just screaming?
I was like, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that makes me happy. Sweet.
The affirmation.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's pretty fun to do.
And you've been doing it, how long have you been on tour now?
Well, I
In
mean,
this particular iteration?
oh, not very long. We left on the 7th, so about a week for the album. But we've kind of been on tour since October 2016. I mean, like, we haven't been home a whole lot, yet, my husband and I. But it's been cool. Like, we've been everywhere, basically, all over the country.
And what was that transition like to go into like permanent family tour, hypothetically, potentially into the future?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I don't know why I wasn't more nervous or scared. Like, actually, I really don't know. But we decided, okay, we want to try touring, and if we don't try it, I think I'm going to regret it, because we had that Tiny Desk concert, and that was a big, that was a big help. And I was like, we're not going to get a boost like that, so we have to try. So we're busy, like, selling our house, like, fixing it up, and, like, I had a booking agent booking us into infinity, basically, and some part of me just felt like, well, if it totally sucks, we can go back to our jobs someday. Like, I don't know, I wasn't that scared, but it was definitely the real transition comes after. Have you toured at all?
Yeah, slightly.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the real transition comes after, like, 2 weeks in when you make $12 in, like, a state, like, 2,000 miles away, and you're like, oh my gosh. But it was still okay. I mean, like, still you're like, okay, we're just learning, it's okay. But it is sort of like a harsh wake-up call where you're like, whoa, touring is not easy. But it's fun, but it's hard,
It seems so inevitable seeing you perform, and yet knowing it had to begin at some point with a risk that seemed completely ridiculous when you first started on the journey.
Yeah, it's funny. I talked to a guy who had been in the music industry for a really long time, and I told him, I think we're going to sell our house because we want to tour, so we don't want to have to deal with that, like, when we're home, and, and it's expensive, and, we don't want a debt. And he was like, I would strongly advise against that. And I was like, well, I mean, we already, like, put it on the market, so I don't know. And for some reason, we just did it anyways, but it was intense. A very intense couple of years. But good, but intense.
And Kingsley, you were recently, you said you toured a bit, but you were recently in the Netherlands performing, right?
Oh yeah, I was teaching class in Amsterdam, teaching dance. I'm a dancer. I was teaching dance out there, but with music, I've only toured maybe what was it, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
4 days.
4 days. Yeah. Oh yeah. Wow.
It felt like
Yeah. Again, I got 6 times 4 wrong back there, so I don't. But dancing, I toured for about 2 or 3 years. I toured all of Germany, mostly all of Germany, and went to Switzerland, all these cool places, and that was dope because it was with a big dance company, you know what I mean? But music, touring, it was like, you know, you just woke up and performed.
Yeah.
Now music is different. Music is different, you know, and I think, like you were talking about making sacrifices, like selling your house, you know. I had to sacrifice that, I'm sacrificing now, letting go of certain dance jobs, you know what I mean? Because I want to pursue music now, you know, though it's all art, you know. I think I had more of a cushion with dance, right? I could teach dance, I could perform it, you know what I mean? I could choreograph it, I could, you know, just view it, you know, and get paid doing that. But now with music, I have to start over, you know?
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I think it's interesting.
Did you feel there was a bit of a ceiling transitioning from working as a professional dancer into, you know, putting a band together and starting to maybe go to some of the same venues and be like, you know, this is what I'm doing now?
I think, I don't know, you just kind of fall into it, you know. Well, I'm the type of person who just falls into things, you know what I mean? No pun intended. There's no pun that was created. So, now I'm nervous.
I wouldn't have caught it anyways. I'm really bad at understanding puns.
Thank y'all for laughing though. That was nice. I appreciate that.
It's a very generous audience.
Yeah, very. I don't know. Yeah, I kind of really just, I don't even think about what I have to do. I really just, I do it. I see the idea and I'm like, I'm just gonna do it. You know, even if it doesn't make sense, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna try my best, and you can correct me on the way. So I don't know. I don't even know the question anymore. I'm so embarrassed. Yeah. Did I answer it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have so many more questions.
Yeah.
Open Pandora's box.
Yeah. Well, Gaelynn, since you're married, you know, I don't know where your husband is now. He's
I
probably
don't know either. I hope
How long-
he's still here.
How long have you been married?
We've been married for 5 years, but we've been together for 12. Yeah.
And how is that with you doing it? I know he helps you as well. How has that strengthened your relationship, or what is the dynamic of your relationship, being that you work with, you know? your husband?
Yeah, well, so before we left, I was a fiddle teacher and he was a janitor at a college, so we had like divided things, and we worked the same hours generally, so we hung out at night and in the morning or whatever, and now we're together basically 24 hours a day. And it's good, like it's really intense, and we probably argue more than most married people, I suppose, but that being said, we actually like being around each other still, and for like 2 years solid, it was a good sign. I was like, okay, like for all the ups and downs or the stressors, because there's a lot of stressors on the road, it was cool to like know that so far it's fine. And I think we're getting better at like doing it, you know, like knowing what we need to communicate about. I mean, we like way back when we got married, we had to take that marriage assessment test that your pastor gives you or whatever. And it said that we have the exact same values, but completely different ways of doing everything. And that comes up a lot on the road. Like, we're just, you know, not the same person, but it's good. I mean, like, I don't know. I think it's cool to be with someone that you can like go through hard stuff and still want to be around them. But we're also trying to learn, like, when we're home, to do things away from each other, like hang out with our own friends, and that I think is actually pretty important that we weren't doing for a while. I mean, this isn't a therapy session, I'm just telling you. So I guess, like, you know, like if you're working with them all of a sudden and you never did that before, you do have to like readjust your normal dynamics, because I think our social lives used to be always together, But now it really doesn't make as much sense because otherwise we're never apart. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a challenge, but it's not a terrible one. Like I think it's worth it. I definitely wouldn't want to do what we're doing without him here for sure. No, like a couple weeks is one thing, but if they're going to be gone a couple weeks and a couple weeks and a couple weeks and 4 weeks and 6 weeks, I wouldn't enjoy that. I don't think.
I imagine it may not work in any other context. You have to have your family with you, and especially when you're on the road as much as you are.
Yeah, well, because at first we were talking about maybe bringing like personal care attendants, because I don't think you should have to be married and have a disability and not tour. Like for me, I happen to be married, so it made sense to bring him. But at first we were talking about maybe like I would do some small tours with another person, like a personal care attendant. But then we started realizing how much we're going to be gone, and that's exactly the thing. It's like you could do that for a little while, but eventually you'd want them with you. We actually have our dog with us in the green room this time.
Where's the dog?
She's in the green room.
Yeah, in the back. She scared me.
Sorry about that. I forgot to tell you that there was a dog. We were like, I wonder how she responded to the band back there. Did she bark really loud?
Yeah, just twice. She barks in twos.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, wow. Yeah,
She's a little dog, but we don't usually bring her. Usually she's with my mom, but I started missing her, so we're trying it out. I mean, it's a little more crazy to bring a dog with you. I'm not gonna lie, but it's still cute. Like she's still cute, but we're figuring it out. Life is a learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions for you, like from you?
Oh, yeah, forgot you over there. I've always wanted to say that. Go ahead.
Yeah, you have a question?
Okay.
Hi. When you're writing a song, this is for both of you, where do you start?
Do you want to go first, or you want me to go? You?
You can go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, basically, how it usually happens for me is one line will come kind of spontaneously, with the melody attached. For me, I mean everybody's totally different, but I'll think of a cool phrase and a melody, and then a lot of times that's all, and then I record it into my phone and then also put it on Google Drive so that I can't lose it, and then and if it's really strong, if the writing is coming, it'll kind of just get stuck in my head, and I'll think about it for a couple weeks sometimes, and it'll fill out gradually, like another line or a chorus or a bridge or whatever, and then about halfway through, when I have about half a song, if I want to, I can sit down and finish it. But I've never been able to force the first part. I just can't be like, I'm gonna write a song about disability rights. It has to be, the beginning has to be something that comes from, and I mean, I personally believe it's your higher, your soul is bloop, drops a little crumb, and then you can figure out the rest. That's how I think of it. I don't know what really happens, but it does feel like you're almost not the one that thought of it, and that's why I say that, because you're kind of where did that come from? And then you kind of take ownership of the end of it, but the beginning feels like it comes out of nowhere for me. Some people strum an instrument and they find chords that they like, and then they write a song, but since I play violin, it's never been like that for me, so that's my answer. I don't know.
Yeah, that's similar. It's almost like you don't. Somebody takes over. And you're like, I created this. Wow, that's amazing. But for me, I tend to write poems first. I write poems first, and then I usually need a beat. Because I play piano, but only well enough to produce. So either I'll make a beat, or my boy Lee Clark, who played with me earlier, he'll make a beat for me, and then I'll take that poem. And then I'll break it down. No matter how long it is, I'll break it down and say, what are the best lines in this poem? You know what I mean? And I'll get the best lines, and I'll find the melodies for them, and I'll find, whatever it becomes. And then I go back and I say, what word will punch somebody right in the gut? You know what I mean? I always try to find, what's the strongest word that will start off a song, no matter what it is, no matter what song it is, even if it's a corny song. I'm like, it has to have a powerful word. It has to, because that's the crumb. Once I find that powerful word, that's usually the theme of the song, So then it melts from there, and it becomes whatever it needs to be, And but sometimes it's how do you explain? You know, I don't even know if I explain it properly. You know, because really that's the spirit talking to